Hey, 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 welcome to the Really Charlie podcast. Today's guest is Robin Andrade from Sell Atlanta, real estate agent, former New Bedford native. I love her, very proud of her. But everyone, this podcast is brought to you by StreamYard. StreamYard, Anchor, Spotify, Facebook, and YouTube. So if you're on Facebook, you're going to see us visible. Please share this podcast. The more you share it, the more bigger the audience is. And I'm dying to hear what Robin has to say. You have any questions about real estate? Please ask her a question in the comment section, and we'll go from there. So, how you doing, Robin, today?
I am great, Charlie. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm glad that you're on here finally.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited about sharing a little bit of real estate knowledge with my hometown crew.
Awesome. It's ever since I started this, I wanted to definitely get you on because I'm very proud of what you're doing. It's definitely it's just it hits the heart, especially when my childhood friends are doing great things, and that's what you've been doing, and it's so exciting to see what you're doing.
Thank you. I'm excited to be doing it.
And you make Atlanta look beautiful. It's beautiful in itself, but all the stuff you do, you got your little Instagram videos, Facebook stories, and so on and so forth, and you're a good ambassador for yourself, but you're a great ambassador for the city of Atlanta. Just want to let you know that.
Thank you. Moving to Atlanta was something that I had only planned out in my mind. It was like a dream. I would think about it, and the more I thought about it, the more it made me wanted to look into how can I actually have it. And it didn't take much. It took a little bit of planning and a lot of faith. And it was a tough call to leave New Bedford for Atlanta, but I really felt like Dorothy on The Wizard of Oz. Like I was off to see the wizard. Like I was going to find what it is that I was constantly dreaming about in my mind. I wanted that feeling, and I have it now.
Awesome. It I mean it's a good match to me from what I see, and through perceptions. I think it's a good match. You in the city of Atlanta, the whole community, and it's also a match with real estate. I think you picked. I mean, I've seen you in other fields, but I think real estate is your thing. I really do.
Real estate is my thing, and unknowingly, I got bit by a real estate bug when I was just about 21. I purchased my first 3-family in New Bedford. That's when it bit me, and I didn't know I liked it until after I acquired that house. It was so easy to acquire it, and I also was able to see how much the real estate agent got paid, and I was like, wait a minute. You can make this much money if you just do this,
Yeah.
Like, I think a total of maybe $4,000 came out of the pocket of Jamie and myself because we bought that house together. But to know that it allowed me to make 5 more major steps towards my goal in life, which I didn't know that this was going to be my goal then when I bought that house.
So true.
Yeah. So, I mean, real estate is a wonderful thing, and it pays really good. And it also is, something that you can pass down to your kids or your kids' kids. If ever you're in financial trouble, if you own a piece of real estate, you won't be in financial trouble if you bought the right piece of real estate.
Exactly. It's really part of it's part of the wealth. It kind of separates, the wealthy to the poor, or wealthy to the middle class. And I try to encourage people, including my own kids, that go ahead, get a piece of property. That's the start. get that piece of property and build for your future. You never know if one leads to another, so on and so forth. So, um, what we have here, we have some unexpected guests here, Robin.
We do?
Yeah, but everyone, please, if you want to see this live podcast, just go on to Robin's profile or my profile. You can actually try to join the Really Charlie podcast group on Facebook, and you'll see the live podcast. Um, I just put it on Rochelle's page, so she should be able to see it.
Okay. I
And
don't see it on my page yet, though.
no, you don't. All right, I'm gonna click it on there right now.
Okay.
So just give us a little bio about Robin Andrade and
Okay.
just
Quick bio about Robin Andrade. All right. So I am one of three of Lynette and Poopy's kids. We lived at 138 Acushnet Avenue. Most of my childhood was spent in Bay Village along with my sisters.
yep.
I'm the middle child, and I have two children of my own. And I left New Bedford in 2007.
Wow, it's been that long, huh?
Yeah, it's been that long. Yep. So, 1 second, Charlie. I'm just trying to get your link.
All right,
I don't see it yet on my page.
just put it. Should be visible now. Might be a little delay because of what we're.
I'll refresh it. Give me one.
Yeah.
So I am one of three, and I've had several jobs in my lifetime. They've all seemed to be in the service industry. Um, Looking back into my life, I realized I've always gone after jobs that paid me a lot of money. So they were never like hourly jobs weren't my thing, but anything to do with the service industry, um, more like bartending, is something that I recognized allowed me to set my salary for the night. And so it was real estate and bartending that were my side gigs and side hustles for a little while. But when I moved to Atlanta, I was determined to become a broker and open up my own real estate firm. And in 2018, I was able to, open my firm as a broker who is now licensed to hire other real estate agents and mentor them and
Awesome.
show them where the diamonds are.
Awesome. And my cousin's in Tiverton. She's opened a new office in Westport, and she's done the same thing. And I'm so happy that your owner broker. It's just so much more important to kind of make your own money. You get motivated by your own money. It's your company. It's your brand. And it just pushes you that much more. Compared to being someone else's. That's only my belief.
No. I'm with you there. I don't think I was built to work the rest of my life for someone else. I think that I was built to learn really fast and make decisions really quickly. There is one woman in the city that I was loyal to and I worked for 10 years, and I loved doing what I did, but I built an entire department for her. And when I realized that I had the ability to do that with no instruction and no real formal education, I said, well, if I can do it for her, I can do it for me.
Exactly.
And I went to her. Funny story. I went to her and I said, hey, I'm leaving you in 2 years. And she looked at me over her glasses and was like, where are you going? And I said, I don't know, but I know it's going to be my own thing. I'm going to my
Yeah.
own thing. I had no idea what it was going to be. And so I think with motivation and persistence, anybody can have anything that they want in life. And
Exactly.
for me, this is just the beginning. It takes a lot of hard work, and I do work 24/7. And, friends and family have commented, like, hey, you're always working, but this never feels like work for me.
Yeah.
It never
Exactly.
does. And they say that when it doesn't feel like work, then you may have found something that you love. So,
Exactly. And
yeah.
I always try to tell different kids, that come along my path, I tell them, look, make sure you're doing something that you love. So it makes your job that much easier.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And
Definitely.
yeah, so, but we have a few comments. Let's see, says, love you, my Robin. That must be mom.
That's mama. That's mama bear.
That's it.
Yeah.
She loves her girls, man. She just one of the best Bay Village moms that I've known. She hasn't changed. She's transparent. She definitely has. You know what you're getting when you see Lynette. You definitely know what you're getting. And I just happen to have a bunch of smiles, a hug, and a kiss here and there. So I love it. You know.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you, mommy. Thank you, Charlie.
All right. You're
Um,
welcome.
I wanna also take a minute, if I could, and let
Sure.
people out there know that, buying a home may seem like an overwhelming task, but my niece is the perfect example of how easy this journey can actually be for someone if you really want it. My niece came to me. She wants to change states. She wants to move from Massachusetts to Georgia, but her credit wasn't good at the time when she wanted it. Her money wasn't quite right. And over time, I would say within like a 2-year window, we collectively built her credit, educating her on what to do and what not to do with her credit, and explaining the value and how important credit is and how it can take you places that you never thought you could go,
Exactly.
if you just be responsible with your credit. Um, so we were able to increase her credit score, and during that time frame, she lived life a little differently. She saved money, and now she's at a point where we're just waiting for her to get offered a job here. And she will now be able to change her entire life because she sacrificed, hanging out, buying extra things, and saving her money and recognizing the value of a good credit score. So she's going to change her life and, her two kids' life at the same time.
That's a great story.
Hmm.
Excellent story. And I'm trying to always encourage someone to, you know, go along that same path. Keep things up to date with your credit. Keep it good. And my own family is doing some great things. Thanks, not thanks to my guidance, but they have good, smart heads on their shoulders, and they're doing great things. And
Yeah, when we're role models to our kids, they latch on, they catch on, and they see that what we're doing is really all for them. We literally paved the way,
exactly.
literally, for those behind us. And um, I wish there were more. I can't wait for there to be more homeowners in the city of New Bedford, because our city, it's a gem. It's a diamond in the rough. And some of the people that have been living there for so long don't see it. And
Hmm.
sometimes you don't see your diamond shine until you walked away from it. I've walked away from New Bedford, and when I look back at it, I'm like, wow, that city is a gem. Didn't recognize it when I was
Hmm.
there, quite honestly. I had to go a few July 4th weekends without it to
Hmm.
recognize, you know, the blanket of neighborhood people that you've sewn together over the years is a beautiful thing. The fact that we have beach access and ferry access to Martha's Vineyard. If New Bedford was anywhere else on the map, it would probably be a city that you couldn't afford to live in. And I don't doubt that it's going to get to that point where, poor people are pushed out and gentrification is going to be at its finest. And
Yes,
our lifetimers in that city they're gonna experience it, and it's gonna be a hard slap into reality for them if they don't, gear up right now and prepare for what's coming.
exactly. And I'm glad that a lot of people are starting to talk about it, even though it's not late, but it's at a stage where we should have prepared for this a long time ago. But we had no one to teach us, so they knew about it, but they just wasn't passing it along. Some generations were just not passing that information along. Where you you kind of think of when we were younger, if they were telling us, when we were in our 20s and 30s, where we would be right now, the places that we would be. I mean, you're doing well right now, but I think if I had some guidance at that young age where I did have money in the bank, things would have been a whole lot better for me
Yeah.
and my family.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
hindsight is always 20, right? So if we
exactly.
continue to look back, we'll see a
Yeah.
clearer picture. But the time to start is definitely now.
Yeah.
People need to just look at their income, look at what they're spending their money on. I mean, we have a lot of people in our city that, they want to floss for the next poor person. And I always say, you know, don't buy designer if you can't buy 10 of them.
Yeah.
Okay. If you can't walk into the Louis Vuitton store and buy 10 items, don't even walk in there, because all you're doing is setting yourself back significantly with that $2,000 bag you're carrying. And don't get me wrong, I have my fair share of designer bags, but I made a conscious decision last year when we were rioting and protesting that I wasn't going to spend my money making any more designers wealthier. I just wasn't going to do that, because 2 Louis Vuitton bags is a down payment on a house. And if you're
Exactly.
listening to me right now out there, ladies and gentlemen, and you own a Louis Vuitton bag and you're renting your space, I'm going to need you to sell that bag and toss it in the bank, because that's going to be your down payment.
Awesome.
Or, look at all the bags in your closet and do the math. We as a people, as a culture, we get caught up in looking rich when we are dirt ass poor.
Great.
Okay. It doesn't matter to me if you're driving a BMW if you can't afford, the maintenance plan. It doesn't matter to me if you're Gucci down to the socks and you don't own anything. So those are silly little things that I'm guilty of doing, and there are people listening right now that are guilty of doing. And hopefully, especially the men, especially the young men in our city, like, take care of your family, build your credit, stack your money, and own some real estate. You want to be real rich? Buy real estate. No one
Yeah.
can take it from you unless you don't pay the bill.
Awesome. Awesome. Preaching.
Yeah.
Preaching. I
I'm
love
going
it.
to preach a lot more in my city, because I feel like they need to hear me in their ear.
Mm-hmm.
They need to hear
Exactly.
it. And a lot of people actually needed to see it. They needed to see that it was possible for someone to leave one place, the hometown, and go somewhere else where they knew nobody, and rebuild. I
So,
rebuilt.
who which leads to the question, who's your inspiration? I mean, personally, I know, excuse me, Robin Andre doesn't need too much inspiration. She's her own little, shining light. So, but is there anyone that inspired you?
There are a lot of people that are not here today that inspired my that gave me hope and
Mm-hmm.
belief that what I wanted was possible. And when I was younger, I was hooked on the show That Girl. And everybody else may have been watching cartoons, but I was watching That Girl because she wanted to be a secretary in New York. And
Yes.
and I would be like enamored with her little outfits that she would wear and the beginning of the show, how it opens with her in a big city. And I think that stuck with me. And then I would see my grandfather, he would roll through Bay Village and he always had a car. Like he had a car. And I
Yeah.
was thinking to myself, when can we get a car? Like getting a car was a big deal back then. Although we didn't need it living where we lived because we walked to the corner store or we took the bus, to where we needed to get to. But my grandfather, that girl, and when we would walk through Bay Village to downtown and see my mom working at the counter at Kresge's,
Yep.
I thought that was her counter. You know what I mean? Like everybody knew her. Everybody was so happy when they came in to see her. She was laughing all the time. And I was like, yeah, I want that too. It was like I was so young, but I was taking notes, subliminally taking notes from people that just simply did something in front of me or made me feel a certain way. When that girl came on, there was joy and there was optimism. When I would see my mom, interacting, because all the guys liked Lynette, she was
Yeah.
really, really pretty back there. And I would sip on a Lime Ricky, and I think I may have been like 7 or 8. I always knew what I wanted. But it was never what everybody else wanted. It was always something different. So I knew that I was different. But my mom, my dad going to work, combing our hairs every day, all 3 girls, 2 ponytails at 6 braids, every other morning, like seeing them just going out and getting money every day, like it turned something on in my mind,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know?
You had, and you had a great family. You
Oh,
had
we
that,
did. And we
and
had
you
the
had,
best Christmases in the village. I didn't
yeah,
know I lived in the projects.
yeah,
I didn't know because my dad had our floors shinier than Voc Tech High School's floors because we borrowed that waxer. My dad
uh-huh.
waxed the cabinets in the house. He waxed the floors. My mom, came home with Chinese food every Thursday. Like, I thought we were rich. I thought we were rich. And then all these people that lived next door to us, you included, I thought that that's what the world was like everywhere. And it
It's
wasn't. It just simply wasn't.
we had a great extended family. It was just
What?
awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
I wouldn't replace if you're going to take any part of my life away from me. Please don't take the Bay Village times away from me.
No.
No, and
No.
I learned so much there, and I cherish it till this day.
Same. When I go home, I walk through the projects or I'll drive through Bay Village at night and it literally kicks back memories. Or I'll walk through downtown. I love home. I love home. And whatever I do here in Atlanta, I want to bring it back. I,
Yes,
I really want to bring it back. I feel like I've learned a wealth of knowledge here, living in a city ran by Black people, a successful city ran by Black people. There's a lot to learn, and there's a lot of things that I could literally take back home and implement a lot of strategies that they use here and implement them back at home because I feel like every city that has an abundance of people of color could be productive and affluent. We just have to care more.
yes,
Literally,
exactly.
we have to, first of all, we have to love each other more, right? And
Hmm.
then we have to care about where we live more. Like something as a little as curb appeal, like make your street look cleaner. How about
True.
starting there? Because when you do those kinds of things, when you start caring about your street, it makes it more difficult for these large, rich, you know, companies or groups of people to come in and gentrify your whole neighborhood. When
True.
you take a stand and show them that you care and your neighborhood is not for sale, then gentrification won't happen in your neighborhood. It
Yes.
only happens in neighborhoods that are not being cared for. And it saddens me that I drive down some streets and we allow the landlords to not take care of the property that we live in.
True.
Like, everybody should have flowers in front of their house.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody should have a neat and clean entrance to their home, whether they own it or not. You know what I mean? Like, we live in a city on the coast that people would love to infiltrate and take over. So y'all can't even afford to live there anymore, and they kick you out. And before you know it, you're in Fall River.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you're somewhere, but you're not there.
And even Fall River, they're doing pretty much the same thing in different parts of it. So,
Yeah.
it's the coastline is the love line. Everyone loves the sea. I do. I couldn't live anywhere. I couldn't live anywhere in this fine country without being close to that water. So.
And I didn't realize I had that love until I didn't have it anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
they say you don't miss something until someone takes it away from you. And that is 100% accurate. I gave up that feeling for something I didn't know. And yes, my lifestyle here, what I do for work supports my lifestyle, and it's a lot different. But I fiend for the smell of a periwinkle.
Yeah. Yep.
Like,
Yep.
I want to go home and I want to walk the beach, even if it's raining. I don't care. Like, when I go there, the beach is my thing.
Yeah. The sound, the serenity, tranquility, means a lot. People take it for granted, and But I'm glad that I was born and raised where I was. 5 years away from the area, uh, I learned to appreciate.
Yeah.
I learned to appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Right down to the chow mein sandwiches that you can only get at home.
Yeah,
Chow mein
exactly.
sandwich and a clam boil. I mean, I can't wait to go home in a couple of weeks
Yeah.
and eat and eat. But
So,
more.
go ahead.
I was going
Go
to
ahead.
say more importantly, the home ownership piece. I wanted to come on your podcast to let people know that I am available, for help. If they do want to buy something in New Bedford, that is possible. If they don't want to buy something in New Bedford and they want to make, the move to another state, I can tell you exactly how to get it done. It's not as hard as it seems. And the more you want it, that kind of outweighs its difficulty level anyway.
True, true. And I see that we have so many good people getting into the real estate game. And I thought about it, but I really just haven't put it in my head right now. But my son-in-law is doing it. Scott Amita's doing it. AJ Tavaz is doing it. You're doing it. It just goes on and on and on. And I'm glad that people that we know, or faces that we know, are in place to help us. And that's what they should do. And as far as I know, all those names that I did mention, they are actually helping a lot of people. Darren King. So
Yeah.
yep. So it's
My goal eventually is to invest in home, buy back some of the blocks that we may have lost. And
mhm,
I've been saving my cash, and I'm sure my cash coupled with someone else's cash, we can really do something to bring back some of the pieces of New Bedford that truly really do belong to us. And if we weren't educated in the past, about how to take care of property, you're being educated today. Like, it's really easy and simple to acquire if you pay your bills and your credit score is good and you're making the right amount of money. And it's also able to maintain. It really is. Like, people maintain their car and their sneakers better than they maintain their home that they live in. And it, like, baffles my mind. Like, wow,
yeah, exactly.
I need to come
It's
back home. I need to educate people at home more. And I would probably start doing that with a YouTube channel that we're discussing. It's just, I'm so busy right now, and I'm trying to get to the things that are the most important. Um, I've got a major project coming up that will probably be seen nationally. You know, that's
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
that's in the works. It's been a long time coming, but it's finally here. We've linked up with a network, and we've got some good stuff that we're going to be getting together this
That
summer.
that's so expected of you. So expected. At least I love it. I love it. Um, Annika Barboza says, what if you are in a different state wanting to invest back home?
Well, that's a good thing. Number one, the thought of even wanting to invest back at home is great. We would have to find opportunities, and decide if there's anybody listening in New Bedford that knows of property that may be coming available for sale that hasn't quite hit the market. DM me, text me, find me on Facebook, Instagram, and we'll figure out a way, you know, to get that done. We had a family um, that lost their house
Hmm.
to a corporation in New Bedford, and I fought along with a few other people to stall that process, and it just didn't work. We didn't have enough people on board, or enough people. I say we didn't have enough people that knew the importance of why we were out there fighting for this piece of real estate, a historic piece of real estate.
So true.
So unfortunately, you know, we lost that property,
Yeah. It,
which was
and
pretty sad, but there's more properties like that. And if anyone knows about them, they could, you know, alert the powers that be and alert the people that can do something about it or are willing to investigate it, because that property went unclaimed for so many years. And
wow.
the children that, you know, were in line to inherit that property, they also were not educated about the importance of owning a piece of real estate. And so now, you know, it went to um, an organization that says that they're there for the people, but I'm not sure if that's really what they're there for.
Well, you can always sweep things under the rug and say what you want, that you're for the people, but eventually someone lifts that rug up in a few years and finds out all the dirt that you have behind the scheme. And I know what property you're talking about,
Yeah.
and guys like me that are going to live, retire, and die here in New Bedford, we can keep an eye on those things,
Yeah.
and and call them out when we have to.
Yeah. If you see a property that looks like it's been vacant for a long time and no one's living there, and it may have some value, which all real estate has value, but you've got a certain organization that deliberately only goes out for historic properties. Why? Because they have the most value. You cannot recreate a historic property today. They just built them differently. You can go in and renovate and make them look good, but you cannot rebuild a historic property.
So true.
Um, you just can't. And they're treasures. My first property in New Bedford that I owned was a historic property.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a historic three family. And hey, guys, in New Bedford, they don't even build three family properties everywhere. So you have to take advantage of the fact that you can buy a $300,000 three family and rent it out to three different families. That is unheard of in this city. You know, zoning in the north allowed you to build multi and build up. But in the south, they build outward,
Yeah.
which is just a
Hmm.
lot of single family homes, and you'll pay 300 grand for one family to live. So when I say we're sitting on a gold mine and New Bedford is a diamond in the rough, New Bedford is a diamond in the rough. Pull your money out of the bank, throw it into real estate, you know, and just let it sit there. I mean, you buy real estate and you wait.
Hmm.
You don't buy real estate looking to cash out tomorrow. When I moved to Atlanta, I built a house here. Before I even knew the lay of the land, I built a home here, and I sold my house in New Bedford, in which Had I known better, I would have kept it. Instead, I sold it, made a six-figure profit that I didn't need to buy the house that I built. I only needed 20,000 of that money, but I
Yeah.
literally lived off the rest of that money. And that was my biggest mistake. Had I known better, I would have flipped that and bought 10 more pieces of real estate.
Yeah.
But I
So
didn't
true.
know. But I didn't know. But now I know. So I can say that I am certified and educated and I'm a veteran in this business now. Now I can teach. So
Yeah.
you don't make the same mistakes I made. I wake up almost every day kicking myself in the butt about what I should have done that I didn't do.
So
I'm
true.
slowly getting over it. Yeah.
Annika says 8K in Cali for one family if you get lucky. That's so
8K.
true. Yeah, that's so
Yeah, you
true.
see what I mean? That's crazy. Like, we could literally pool our money together, start an organization or create a fund where we're coming into New Bedford and we're buying up. And guess what we're doing? We're renting it out to the people like Section 8. I came up off of Section 8, all right? I accidentally bought a three-family house because I lived in it on Section 8.
Yeah. Yep.
And it hurts my heart that there are so many landlords that if they know you have Section 8, they feel it's a green light to not treat your property well at all,
Mm-hmm.
to leave you with a crappy, um, a dirty outside. They don't want to clean it. They don't want to take care of it because they figure you're poor. You don't want to clean and take care of it either. And it's just not the case.
No, it isn't.
It's just not the case. So yeah, my next dream is to pour money back into my home city, some way, somehow.
Just just your friends, just our friends, um, could produce that type of group that you're talking about. If
Yes.
you look at it, and be very, very, um, let me see. Well, first they'll be professional. They'll know exactly what they're talking about, and they'll be able to help people left and right down the middle. It's just so there's so much potential here, and
There's
everything that you're talking about is right here. And sometimes the hardest thing about is us all getting together to do it.
and that is the hardest part, getting us all together to do it. But I think that New Bedford just lacks the proper leadership and the proper motivation because you only need one engine
Hmm.
in a bus, right? And that bus can carry 10, 20, 30, 40. All you need is somebody that has a good enough engine and one driver, and everybody else could pile on in and let's go on this journey together because it's not impossible to buy real estate. You've got young white people doing it already because they were
Hmm.
taught, generational, they were taught that. Meanwhile, we were held back from that information. So, I mean, if someone needs an engine, I run really, 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 really good and powerful.
Good
And
job.
there's money out there. There's money out there for organizations to be able to buy. And maybe when I come down this year, it's something that, I start talking more about and start meeting with the money people in the city, the people who want to put together something.
That's right.
It's the only way it's going to work. It's got to be in numbers.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
To everyone out there that's listening and viewing the Really Charlie podcast, my guest is Robin Andrade, South Atlanta. Yep, she's definitely doing her thing, man. And feel free, share this live podcast. The bigger the audience, the more the questions. And it's already been beneficial. We've been on for over 30 minutes, and she's actually helped a lot of people already. And keep the comments going. Definitely love them. Um, and the
Hey,
Kazan.
Charlie.
Yep, go ahead.
Sorry. I just want to remind people that Robin sells Atlanta. Yes, that is true. However, I have sold over 150 pieces of real estate in this city, but I am selling real estate to our first time home buyers. I am grabbing them by the hand and I'm helping them understand the process. I'm helping them make it make sense. I have the capability to put on a $1,000 suit every day and go mix with women who are selling property that has, dollar amounts that you can't even write out on a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
But I choose to stay with my people. I mean, if I was in this simply for the money, I would be selling $1 million homes and no less. I wouldn't even know what y'all ate for dinner because I wouldn't care. Right. But I made a conscious decision to not take that route because you're not really connecting with those kinds of people. You're not teaching them anything. You're literally opening the door. And if you get lucky, you're their agent.
Mm-hmm.
I am in neighborhoods in Atlanta where I'm helping that first time home buyer get her first $150,000 condo. I do a lot of volume. I do a lot of sales. Yes, I do. But I'm here for the people. I really am. Like I don't get any extra joy by selling $1 million property. The only thing that's extra in that transaction is the paycheck.
So true.
The paycheck is it. Like I feel like I've always been here for the people, and I like to work harder, and I mean I like to work smarter, not harder. And sometimes those deals are just too much paperwork. I'd rather deal with personal work when I'm working with someone. Oh, Michael
Exactly.
has a comment.
Yes. And speaking of personal, um, Robin was my start. She gave me a chance when I was so stereotyped no one else would. Now I have a great resume, and it started with her hiring me with LPC.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? He was good at it. He was
He
good
was
at that
great
job.
at it.
He
He was
was good at
great.
that.
Let me just tell you, when so those of you who may not know, I was the transportation director for Little People's College for 10 years. I was working at Colony Cable when they were fighting for RTP. Like that's how long ago it was. And it was on Kempton Street. And when Comcast moved up to the North End, I decided I didn't want to work there anymore. So I was hired as a teacher's aide for Little People's College. And I realized this isn't me either. I have to do something else. So I was offered a job, and she said, we're about to buy some buses. Can you like create and run this department? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. And if I can't, can I just have my other job back? Like I was securing my position just in case I couldn't pull off what she was asking me to pull off. And sure enough, Michael walked in with a three-piece suit on for a van driver position. And in my mind, I said to myself, he's dressing for the job he wants, not the job he has. Like I would remember all of these, grow bigger, grow stronger quotes. And that was Michael. And he was great with the kids. The parents always asked for him. He just loved the kids. He literally loved the kids and they loved him back. But I didn't know the impact I was going to have just by hiring him. I hired so many people. Like I was literally like opening the door going, come in. You want a job? I got you. Come on. Like that's how I liked that position at Little People's College because I was able to hire people and give them money in exchange for their work. But Michael was something else. And to know that now he works for the state, I mean,
It's speaks for itself.
Yeah, who
And
knew? Like, who knew that he
and
would be working with the state now?
and I went to you several times. Excuse me. I went to you several times for different jobs or recommendations or references for different people, and you were good at it then. So you
Yeah.
know it's But I remember Michael, and he became sort of that, just like you, that ambassador for LPC. He was,
Yeah.
if you had to find out anything about it, hey, call Michael, see what he knows. Call Robin, see what she knows.
Yep.
And but you guys were good at it. Moved on to bigger and better, not bigger and better things. Let me say, you moved on to other things, and you're successful at that too. So, um, you know, ah, it's a. I just got a flashback picturing Michael driving. It's funny.
I'm thinking about Michael driving too. So many people. And another thing, like since we're on this topic about Michael being a black successful male, all on the strength of one person who saw his light, and who saw his determination. Um, Something that we have here in Atlanta that our mayor fights for, and I'm not sure that your mayor fights for, but convicted felons, people who have records, um, all of that doesn't really matter much in this city. Like, this is a city that will provide you with the five fingers or the boost that you need to get where you want to go. And I don't know if there's enough people fighting or advocating for that in New Bedford, because I find that there's a lot of people who have had run ins with the law and they're having a difficult time living and surviving because what their record says. So, we've got people in office in New Bedford, but what are they doing for our youth? And what are they doing for the 30 and 40-year-old man who has a record? Like, are we voting for the right people? Are we even
Mm-hmm.
paying attention to who's running? Like, there's a lot in our city that we have to help change as a
Yes,
group. Like, we have to like just dive right in it like soldiers and just get it done.
so true, so true. Uh, Mr. Jones says, my question to Robin is do you find it hard to come back to the city you were born and raised to see the potential the city has to get everyone or that one person to say, I can do that? That's his second comment. And I mean, there's definitely, Robin, you don't need any motivation to come to your city to do something. Yeah, and I know that you're going to end up doing whatever you have to. If you need to do it on your own, you're going to do it. Um, but you're also a leader. People are going to follow you. And I hope I'm doing you some justice, Mr. Jones, in what you're saying. But there's a lot of motivation here, and I don't think, me personally, to get something done, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And if people come along the way, then they come along the way. Um, and like you're talking about with felons and everything, I'll do everything I can to help out someone, to try to get that position that they may need to provide for themselves, provide for their family.
Mm-hmm.
But I do agree with you. We need some people in leadership position to help out with those things, those necessities that people may need, especially when they're um, reincarnating themselves and trying to do better for themselves and the city in general.
Yeah. I mean, when they're on, re-entry, they're lost. And I have a family members that, are behind the eight ball because they don't feel like the city has enough resources. And it's like most cities do have these resources, but what are they being spent on?
Yeah,
So I wasn't into politics up until recently.
yeah,
Atlanta has inspired me to really really be a voice and try to be more of a leader that matters. Now that I've lived here and I see that it can happen. um, to answer his question, when I go home, do I see people? What was his question?
it. So my question to Robin is, do you find it hard to come back to the city you were born and raised to see the potential the city has to get everyone or that one person to say, I can do that? Um, I see a couple of things there, but
When I go home, I'm inspired, I'm motivated, and at the same time, I'm sad.
yeah.
I'm sad to see a lot of things that we have not come our way. I mean, I'm so sure that I can make things happen. Like, I jokingly was like, I'm going to go home and just be the mayor of New Bedford because they need a
Mm-hmm.
woman down there. They need a woman who is not afraid of anything or anyone. Like, intimidation, nope. I have a lot of old friends in New Bedford that don't know this new Robin. You know, they don't know the woman that the powerful woman that I've transformed into. I'm paying more attention to politics. I'm understanding where money goes in communities and why schools are suffering in certain neighborhoods and not in others. I see the importance of why you can't send your kid to a school that's not in your district. A lot of our people don't know this, but it's simply because of money.
Mm-hmm.
It's simply because of money. Your tax dollars determine how great of a school your kid is going to go to. So if you live in a community where everybody doesn't work, that school is probably going to be underperforming because it's not going to have the best teachers, because it's not getting the revenue it should be getting, because there are not enough homeowners in the neighborhood. It all goes back to home ownership. It all goes back to money. So yes, when I go home, I hope that people look at me and go, I could be like her. I can
Sure.
do what she's doing. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Listening to her today made me feel like I'm wasting my talent. Let me get
Mm-hmm.
out and whip some political ass. Because if you are not sitting in a seat with power on it, there's nothing you're going to be able to do.
Sure.
Or if you're not connected with someone who has power, or you've got people out there using their power in the wrong way.
So true.
Not
Exactly.
using it at all. Don't let me get an address in New Bedford because you might see my name on a ticket. I don't think anybody could run a city better than someone who was born and raised there and has watched it either grow or deteriorate over time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got the right people in the right positions of power, New Bedford could be, you know, a very strong, fairly governed city. But we've got a lot of people who um, allow a lot of stuff to happen.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because they're too afraid to speak up on it.
Yeah. They because the good jobs in the city are usually tied into the city administration.
Of
So that
course.
kind of keeps people silent, and I'm so glad I don't have a filter anymore. I could say what I
No,
want, I could do what I want, and I could and really really you know don't worry about anything. I don't worry about anything. If I have to be, someone says, "Really, Charlie? Yeah, really. You got to get on your butt." My dad used to always say, "A title given is a title earned."
that's
Well,
right.
I try to make people earn their title. Let's see. Let's see. What's this here? Got a comment here. Cheryl. I love her. She's so wonderful. She supports me every podcast.
Oh,
But
that's good. She supports me too, pretty heavily.
that's it. Got a good family from the roots to the top of the tree. I love it.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So, what's your next adventure? What's next?
So my next adventure is to
I mean, you said
uh,
something earlier, but I know that. But
yeah. So there's a piece of my next adventure that has to be pretty tight-lipped, but people
mhm.
have been following me for a while. They know what I've been working towards, and it's finally happening. So I will start working on that project next month. Um, But ultimately, my goal is to, because I've been a real estate agent, I fell on my face, I've broken my teeth, I've scraped my knees, I've advanced to being a broker. I now mentor agents. Um, they come to my class. Um, and I think I'm going to start a YouTube channel where I am actually giving you the diamonds. Okay. I'm going to teach my up and coming realtors how to really move around. And they're going to be so surprised to know that it's nothing that serious that is going to allow you to make money. It's really just about you. There's
Awesome.
I mean, I can teach you how to talk and how to walk, and those are things that you're going to need to know in this business. But there are some people that are just not cut out for it, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I can't be a police officer. I'm not cut out for it. I'm not cut out to be a fireman. But the people that are cut out for it, I can tell when they come to me and they ask me for help. I have told people no, because you either have it or you don't in this industry. It moves so fast. I don't even know how I got it, but mentoring agents, being a better broker, and eventually buying a piece of land and building my first 3 houses on it. My next goal is to be a real estate developer. Um, I have met and networked with a lot of money people, and again, that's all you need. Is you need someone, as long as you have the engine and you've got people pouring into that engine what it needs to keep going bigger and stronger, you'll have it. So I see those two really big things on the horizon for me. And the other one, all I can say is, you know, it'll be national.
Yep.
It'll be national. That's all I can say without getting in any trouble.
I can't wait. I can't wait. And
You're gonna see me more often than you thought.
yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a good thing. The let me see. I let's see. I ask this question all the time of my guests.
Mhm.
Who would you like to see on the Really Charlie podcast?
Who would I like to see on the Really Charlie podcast? I would like to see at some point this new group that really has their heart and soul deep into New Bedford. I would like to see that new group come on and talk about how much money they plan to raise, to grow this fund, to be able to acquire new pieces of real estate and then, rent them to members of the community who are in need. That's not a person I would like to see, but that's something I would like to see. Like, one day I want that to happen, and I want to be a part of it. So maybe you'll see me and that group,
Mm-hmm.
putting our brains together and coming off out of our pockets to see like what we can do, what we can acquire together.
Awesome. I like that. I
Yeah.
like to see that too.
It's all about home, Charlie. Like, it's all about home. If you leave your home city and you don't bring back some knowledge or some opportunity or some motivation, then you only left for yourself. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we have a responsibility, like, as a human, to love and support the next person. Like, I want my obituary to say she was, a businesswoman who contributed, who donated. I didn't understand the act of giving back until I started making money and I was
Mm-hmm.
able to give it out. I didn't understand it. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who won't understand it until they can say, I gave away X amount of dollars and I didn't go into the corner and cry. It actually felt good. So
Yes.
when you get to that level in life, and those are called donations, when you can attend fundraisers and buy expensive tickets and give out money to other organizations, you're on the right track. You're doing
Mm-hmm.
something good. But my goal literally is to bring it back. And maybe it'll be Bay Village Kids Foundation. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be something, and it's going to affect the people who are the hardest hit at home.
Awesome. Well, I'll do whatever I can to help out.
Yeah, we got to meet some more.
Yeah.
I got to meet more with people, because I'm going to have to plan it out, think it through, and make the right steps, because it's not too late yet, Charlie, but soon it will be. You know, soon a 3-family home in New Bedford is going to be 450,000, and
Mm-hmm.
we're not going to be able to afford it. We're
Yeah.
just not.
So true. The I say this a lot. I believe that people of New Bedford should leave the city in order to appreciate what they have.
Oh yeah.
And Jarvis is saying the same thing, and I say it all the time. Um, what Robin speaks on is the real solution to New Bedford's gentrification, and we know that, Michael. You know that.
Yep.
We gotta continue to educate people, and I see quite a few people sharing posts and putting posts out there in regards to this. And all we can do is keep on sharing it, because social media is our way of communicating. So continue to share things that are coming from the likes of Eric Andrade, Michael Joe Santos, and Robin Andrade, and
Yep.
continue to push those things so
Mm-hmm.
people will learn. You know,
And
uh,
back to Mr. Jones's comment, you know, leaving your home city and coming back to be able to appreciate it, yes, but it's just the way of the world. You don't miss something until it's taken from you and you no longer have it.
true.
That's when you realize how bad you want it or how bad you miss it. But sometimes when you wait too long, that opportunity is gone. So if you need to step away from New Bedford, like, go to the Cape for a week. Don't go too far, but come right back, or take it from me. I'm telling you, you are living in a jewel of a city, like a jewel of a city. Just the fact that you have beaches, it makes me wonder why we don't have, you know, restaurants lining those beaches, and in music. Well, I know we're coming out of COVID and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
for as long as, you know, we grew up there, we never really had a whole lot of things lining the beach that we could walk up and down like a boardwalk. We never really had that. So somebody's going to come up with that idea, and it's going to happen. And if you own real estate in that neighborhood that ends up getting those things, there goes value.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people don't understand, it all starts with home ownership. Just own something. Own something. Let's talk about how we can own something. If you own something already, oh, and you know, your parents, your grandparents, if they're old and they can't pay their taxes, family needs to chip in and pay those taxes, or else the city is going to come and take your house. Those
Yes.
kinds of things can't happen. Like, we have to understand our grandmother's house is important. It's important, and it should never leave the family. Don't be, you know, too big-headed to ask for a loan, or don't be too big-headed to call me and say, hey Robin, you know, my grandmother's dying and the family is trying to take her house. What can I do? You
Mm-hmm.
know, because I'll bet you that piece of property that your grandmother owns, it could be historic, or it could be in the part of the city where they've got future plans, you know. um Gosh, I wish I'd have known the value of real estate long before I learned it. But I'm hoping that now that I know it, I can share it with some other 20-year-old that may or may not be watching, or sees this video later and says, you know what? I'm going to go buy that house down the block
Mm-hmm.
because it's vacant. I'd rather live there than
Yes.
pay rent here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully somebody, you know, hears this.
True. Well, I'm sorry to keep clearing my throat, trying to
That's
get
okay.
over
You
this
got a frog
cold.
in it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get over this cold. Um, I really can't say it enough. How proud I am of you. I cherish our friendship. I'm
Same
very,
here.
very, very, very fortunate,
Yes.
and we could continue to do this as much as you want. Please come on the podcast again.
Yeah,
Um, and anything that you're doing later on in the future, just include me. You have my name. You know my number,
I will, Charlie.
and just say, hey, Charlie's on board, and you don't even have to ask. As long as Robin's leading the way, I'm gonna follow.
Yay! Thank you for allowing me to be on your podcast and spread, the knowledge, the things that I've learned here in this city, and just know what my target is. It's always been home. I never really wanted to leave home had I not felt I was outgrowing the city. I might have still been there, but I don't know that I would have grown into this Robin, the
Yeah,
Robin that a lot of people don't really know today, you know.
awesome.
So going home is always great. It's always a special treat, but my heart is at home and will always be.
And I know that for a fact.
Yes, yes,
Keep
yes.
keep up the good work,
Thank you, Charlie.
and
Thank you, guys.
yeah, thank you. You made this a great podcast,
I
and
hope so.
yeah, so everyone, please continue to watch the Really Charlie podcast here on StreamYard, Facebook, Anchor, Spotify, and YouTube. Um, as Rob and I conclude this podcast, I will upload this to Anchor and Spotify, and you all will see it and hear it, or actually hear it in a few minutes. We are live now, so some people on Facebook, you're hearing us, and but what a great guest, Robin! You did a great job.
Thank you,
Great
Charlie.
job. All
Thank you.
right,
I appreciate you, and I will check back in with you soon.
all right. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
God
Bye bye.
bless. Bye bye. All right. Robin is definitely did a great job. And as we speak, Robin actually contribute to a fundraiser that we have in the city, and that fundraiser is for our friend Tabby Richards. There's a community comedy fundraiser that's coming up this Friday, um, and Robin contributed. And she made a donation, so she has 4 tickets that we have um, available, and I'm going to give it to some of our guests that are here in the comment section, and I'm going to check that out in a few minutes here. But I just want to let you know about this fundraiser. It's Tabby Serving in Two Wars. It's a comedy fundraiser for Tabby Richards. Friday, June 25th, 8 p.m. Whites of Westport, 66 State Road, Westport, Mass. $20 per person. A donation. Tickets can be purchased by myself or Lorraine. Um, and the comedians will be Anthony Smith, Dale Cover, Alan Alves, and many more. Music by DJ Lady K. And the proceeds will be sent to Cape Verde to the library to assist children in memory of Anthony Tabby Richards. So I have 4 tickets that I believe I have. And so let's see. I'm going to try to give them out. Let's see. Reggie. And let's go with Michael. Reggie, Michael, Cheryl. If you want a ticket, please let me know. And it's 3, 4, Just looking at the local names here. And Marianne. Where are you, Marianne? So those are the 4 tickets. Please get back in touch with me. The winners would be Michael, Marianne, Reggie Victor, and Cheryl. So I have tickets that were kindly donated by Rob and Andrade. And, if you want to go to the comedy fundraiser, please just tell them at the door, Charlie has your ticket, and you can attend the event. All right. Thank you all for listening. I'll be back on here tomorrow. Have some more. We have the beauty salon segment coming up with some great guests. Let's see. So tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, I will be on here before I attend. Friday before I attend the event with for Tavi. I'll definitely have a podcast on here, and then I'll head over to Westport. Excuse me. Oh, wow. So, Cheryl, I would like to also donate for tickets. But you won one, Cheryl. You won one. I want you to be there. Such a great person to be around, But I would, that's awesome. So I guess I'll have to meet up with you sometime tomorrow. Cheryl, I'll give you a call. Probably not during my break, but I'll definitely get in touch with you sometime tomorrow. All right. So we have a couple of beauty salon segments coming on this week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're definitely quite busy up until Sunday. So please continue to listen and view the Really Charlie podcast here on StreamYard, Anchor, Spotify, Facebook, and YouTube. Thank you very much. And I'll give you a call, Cheryl. Take care. Have a good night, everyone. God bless.